Ah, Westfall, the zone I was never quite able to get through on my previous warriors. Though that's mostly on me, as one died trying to help somebody else in a cave, and the other, I don't know, probably pillagers or something. Even just getting into this zone, I could feel my stress increasing. I mean, Elwyn's all fun and games, a playground even, whereas Westfall is your first step into actual danger. The training wheels had officially come off, so surely this can only go well. As we exit the lush forests of Elwyn and enter the golden fields of Westfall, we're met with the Furlbrows and their broken down cart. With all of the Defias goons and hooligans about, they're trying to escape as the lands become dangerous. I feel like my use of the word goon is dating me already. However, they'd left an old pocket watch back home in their rush to leave, and it's now up to us to retrieve this precious heirloom. While we're here, Verna would also like us to deliver a recipe to a nearby farm, as well as collect oats for old Blanchy. I've known old Blanchy for all of 2 seconds, and I already must protect them. So, into the farms we go, and oh my god, silver, hell yeah! But into the farms we go, ready to take back this watch. And guarding the watch, though, is another rather infamous mob on Hardcore. It's your boy, Benny Blanco. Oh god, he's 2 levels over me. We'll be fine, everything will be great. Right? Bro, of course it will, we've only just started the video. I've seen enough people talk about getting killed by him to the point where some people have even been calling it getting Bennied, and honestly, I absolutely love that. I completely understand it too, because this lad hits like an absolute truck, and trust me, I'd know. Thankfully though, we're a paladin, so there's really nothing to worry about. After collecting the watch, along with oats for Blanchy, we return to the Furlbrows and fill our final bag slot. Hell yeah, brother! With nothing left here, we head to the Saldines farm next door to deliver our recipe, only to realize they have problems of their own. Who would have guessed? Harvest Watchers had taken over the fields, driving the other farmers out. Not Saldine, though. Lad's built different. Inside, Salma would like us to get the ingredients to the Westfall stew recipe we just gave her, along with those famous gore tusk livers. The same livers that maybe only 1 in 3 actually have. But continuing south, we land at the central hub of this zone, Sentinel Hill. Here, we finally get to meet Brian Stoutmantle of the People's Militia. After the Stormwind Monarchy had abandoned Westfall, it's been up to the People's Militia to keep the peace, which has been, rather difficult with the Defias running around. So, here, go kill 30 of them, why not? Surely one lone individual can kill 30 thieves on their own. Right? Aside from the Defias, gnolls have also been infesting the lands and need to be slain. Inside the tower, Quartermaster Lewis needs a shipment of armor from the city, and finally, Scout Galliahan, is that how you pronounce his name? Fuck, dude. Wants us to get him bandanas from the Defias while we're out dealing with them for the People's Militia. Sure thing, bud. Immediately, we begin gathering ingredients for the Saldines, and for whatever reason, I forgot to mute my mic. Oh yeah, brother. We then talk to Brian again, and he points us to the direction of Lakeshire, as there's a rogue named Wiley there that owes him a favor. Wiley is able to give us more information on this Defias Brotherhood, so that could actually be pretty interesting to check out. But first, a trip to Stormwind to get abilities. Oh, nice, there was a level 1 Hogger raid. Love to see it. While we're here, we'll also go ahead and nab the armor for Quartermaster Lewis and a quest for Dead Mines later. Just the thought of doing dungeons already stresses me out. A nice little jaunt through Elwyn, and we quickly arrive at Redridge. Help, there's gnolls attacking us. Help, we need more horseshoes. Help, Hillary dropped her necklace in the lake. My guys, I literally just got here. Once we arrive in Lakeshire, we nab all of those, as well as talking to Magistrate Solomon about his need for reinforcements. Redridge is in danger from the constant orc siege and needs immediate aid lest the whole kingdom falls. But in lighter news, Darcy would like us to deliver lunch to a nearby guard, and barkeep Daniels needs to restock on alcohol. After promising nearly everybody in town at this point that will help them, we head upstairs and find Wily. He's understandably a bit sketched out to tell us anything about the Defias, as even talking about it is a risk to his life. However, his favor to Grian is more important, as he shares that the Brotherhood is larger than we think. Every mine from Westfall to Elwyn is under their control, as they've enlisted kobolds and gnolls to do their dirty work. We also find out that the Harvest Watchers were made by the Defias as a means to disturb the farms. Worst of all, though, they're working on something big. A weapon of mass destruction. So, not really anything, too dangerous. With that threat looming above our heads, we return to the city to deliver Solomon's letter, to which we're told we'll have to wait for the king to make a decision. I'm sure this will be done in a nice and timely manner. Meanwhile, while we wait for a response, we're to deliver a letter back to Solomon. While we're in the area, we might as well pick up the horseshoes for Werner before heading back to Grian to update him on the situation. Returning the letter, Grian's curious of Wily bringing up the stonemasons in his letter and promptly sends us back to Stormwind to seek out Matthias Shaw. Bro, we were literally just there! Whatever, man, I'm going back to Lakeshire. Delivering the horseshoes, Werner would now like us to slay black dragon whelps for their scales. Something about using these to pay for the horseshoes he just bought. I don't know. Solomon has then updated that reinforcements likely aren't coming from Stormwind, or at least not anytime soon. So instead, he'd like us to go ask Grian and the People's Militia for aid. I've got bad news for you, my guy. Before heading back, though, we might as well deliver that guard's lunch. The same lunch that we've just been carrying around this entire time. This shit's probably cold as fuck by now. But Parker's seemingly fine with that, and would like us to thank Darcy with some flowers from Marty, the local herbalist. We get the bouquet and hand them on over, and... God, we're just becoming everyone's errand girl at this point. Returning to Stormwind, Shaw tells us that the stonemasons were run by a man named Edwin Van Cleef, who was responsible for rebuilding Stormwind after the orcs destroyed it in the First War. However, after spending years rebuilding, they had nothing to show for their efforts, as the nobles of Stormwind put the kingdom in debt due to the military expansion down to Stranglethorn. Because of this, the stonemasons were left unpaid for all their hard work, and the Defias Brotherhood was soon formed with Van Cleef at the center of it all. So that's fun. With all of this running around we've been doing, we decide maybe now's the best time. We might as well make our run to Loch Modan. Heading into the deep run tram that connects Stormwind to the dwarven city of Ironforge, we meet some rather, unique gnomes. You see, Monty here wants us to take this little flute and go capture 5 rats for him. I mean, alright, sure. His brother Nipsey, on the other side of the tram, then makes kebabs out of these aforementioned rats, which, I think I'll pass, my guy. While we're briefly stopped in Ironforge, we also pick up some blacksmithing quests, which are both going to need, quite a bit of copper. Since I already technically have one of the maces they're asking for, we just need to collect, a measly 156 copper. Easy. While we could stay in the area and farm copper, I think I'm just gonna not do that. Returning to the familiar fields of Westfall, we deliver Shaw's report Returning to the familiar fields of Westfall, we deliver Shaw's report to Grian. Van Cleef is a name that he recognizes, and he's not too thrilled about that. Hearing word of a Defias messenger sent out from Moonbrook recently, he asks us to help capture him. Or, just kill him and take his things. Whichever is easier, to be honest. For now, though, we'll focus on getting the rest of the ingredients for the Saldines and doing quite possibly the most important thing we need to do here in Westfall. Something that's simply life or death for us in the long run. Something that could completely spell disaster if we forgot about it. We feed a chicken and get an egg to keep it as a pet. This is completely necessary, I swear. With our new chicken friend now in tow, we need to start thinking of a name for the little guy. Even now, while editing this, I still haven't quite settled on anything. Maybe Bobbert. Bobbert's fun. Instead of collecting the rest of our ingredients, the ADHD quickly sets in, and we instead hit up the Jangalode mine to just casually kill 30 people. Brian, my guy, that's so much. Although caves are usually sketchy, there's nothing we can't take on as a paladin. Though I would like to share a word of caution regarding the kobolds here. Once they get low, they absolutely cook it and run off. And if you're not ready for them to run like this with either something to stun them or slow them, good luck! One after another, we continually take on more Defias as we venture deeper into this cave, and at the very back, we find a Master Digger. So that's neat. Killing the rest of our 30 and collecting our bandanas, perhaps now it's time to get those ingredients. Like, damn dude, the Saldeans have been waiting like a week at this point. Nah, never mind, let's just turn in these bandanas and talk to Grian again. Oh hey, you just killed 30 Defias. That's great. Awesome. Now go do it again. After killing maybe 20 plus boars for 8 livers, we can finally turn in one of these. My inventory is an absolute mess. Why do I live like this? Heading north into the fields, we then begin to chip off the 20 Harvest Watchers while also collecting okra for Westfall stew. Though this gets quickly interrupted as we decide the local gnolls have had it good for far too long. Collecting their paws, then the murloc eyes, and then finally the last of the okra. We've now got a good bit of things to turn in all at once. And by a good bit, I guess it's really just those 2 things, but man, I felt efficient. Don't look at me. Hitting level 16, we take one more quick trip to Stormwind to grab abilities, do more professions, and pick up the last few Dead Mines quests. Also, while we're out, we might as well deliver the bad news to Solomon that Grian is unable to help. Who would have guessed? But not before getting bothered by more townspeople, as there's a lost 2 box to find. There's more gnolls that need bonking, and more locks too. Amazing. Crikey. Now, as I'm going back to edit this, there's something that's becoming obvious very quickly. And you might have even picked up on it by now. I'm very bad at committing to just one single thing at a time. Like, I'll go out with the idea in mind of, hey, let's go and get some of this. And in the process of running there, I'll see something else and be like, oh, but what if we did that instead? And you know, maybe this is a pretty normal experience. You'll go out to quests and your attention gets pulled away and... Or you know, maybe it isn't. I don't know. It's great. It's fun. Except for when you decide to make a video on it and need to make it somewhat coherent. Oh man, would you look at that, we've got all the Harvest Watchers now. Awesome! While dealing with those Watchers, I noticed that I was picking up flasks of oil, which are used for another quest here in Westfall. At the lighthouse, Captain Grayson is in need of said oil to help keep the flame of the lighthouse burning. And would you look at that, we've got it all here. Hell yeah. Aside from all of that, the murlocs along the coast are causing problems, so we should probably just go ahead and deal with that as well. But maybe later, these guys look scary. While running back, we happened upon this Defias messenger and hopped in with a couple others to absolutely jump this lad. Bro didn't even see it coming. This is like some fucking Jujutsu Kaisen up in this shit. We're just jumping him and not even giving him any warning. Since we're close to Moonbrook, we might as well get the rest of our Defias boys that we need, but also, let's check out the Dead Mines cave and never mind. We'll just stick to, not that. Hey, would you look at here? You just killed 30 more. Great job. Now here's another 25. Bruh. At this point, he's had us have a solid kill count of 85. Like, just think about it. He's sending one lone individual to kill 85 others. Does this not sound absolutely insane to you? But in returning the letter, he directs us to the nearby Defias trader who can show us where they're all hiding. So, back to Moonbrook it is. After showing us the cave we were just at maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes ago, it's time for us to head for the hills as we look for those additional 25. Holy shit, dude, come on. While we're here, we'll also grab this keg from this dwarven boy. I swear this is important later. After turning in our 85 confirmed kills, we're told that we're now an official member of the People's Militia. Wait. Did everyone here have to do this? Now all we've really got left is cleaning up the murlocs and getting a treasure map to drop from one of them. Though, along the way, I saw somebody in general asking for help with a rare gnoll called Sergeant Brashclaw and thought, why not? This could be fun. We get to the camp and there's a solid 7 gnolls counting the rare, and I'm maybe having some second thoughts about this. But I thought, we're paladins, right? We can handle this. Right. Our buddy gets in position and makes the pull. 4 gnolls come running out. The call to run is made, but I'm sure we can handle this. Surely we can take this if we split them up. We kite them away, dropping one after another until all 4 had fallen. Now that there were only 3, including the rare, this was going to be easy. Once again, the pull is made and I take on the rare while our buddy takes the other 2. Everything's looking great until the leader yells, sending them all into a frenzy. Immediately, both of our health bars begin to plummet, but we're so close. Just then, the sergeant runs, giving us the opening to heal and recover, and at that moment, it was over. We conquered the gnoll camp. And now for a huge fumble on my part. So whenever I'd looked at the weapon skills and all the things, I've never seen swords mentioned. So I come to this mental conclusion that paladins couldn't use swords in Classic, even though I'd clearly seen some other paladins running around with swords in Classic. So I passed on it, when it was clearly better than my mace. Though on the plus side, our friend could use it, so at least it went to a good home. I'm sure that lad is still using Brashclaw's skewer to this day. Or it's just sitting with some merchant somewhere, fuck if I know. Instead of running to the rest of the murlocs I needed, I decided to run over to this cave filled with Defias and gnoll miners. Remember how I said to get distracted easily? There was a good bit of ore in here and I just needed that shit. That 156 copper wasn't gonna mine itself. This little side adventure had me feeling like an absolute dumbass the entire time. For you see, this is the exact cave that I died on a previous warrior while trying to help somebody else. There was history here.
No!
But thanks to the copper in that cave, we'd finally collected enough to finish one of our blacksmithing quests, so it was time to return to Loch Modan. And yes, I did fly there instead of taking the tram because I'm lazy. We quickly made our axes and belts and handed them off to our dwarven friends, getting a crafting recipe in return. Hail yeah, brother! With one blacksmithing quest down, we turned our sights upon the second, and since we already had one of the maces it needed, we really only needed to make 3. So really it only needed, 76 copper. Rookie numbers, honestly. But we quickly ran into another problem. We needed light leather to make these maces, and as it stood, we had no way of getting that since we were self-found. But surely there was some way to get them. And while I went about running to Darkshire for alcohol and retrieving this dude's supplies for the lake and collecting scales for the blacksmith, I couldn't stop thinking about just how I was going to go about doing this. I mean, the little bit of leather I'd gotten from a chest, but in all of the chests I'd opened since then, I hadn't seen a single one. So I got to researching. Scouring the internet, I soon found that there was actually a very simple way to get them. And there was only one very simple thing that I needed to do.
But to answer his question, try not being a total degenerate for the entire duration of the date. That would be a good start.
Needless to say, we were having a great time. But to explain, in some zones there's fishing nodes known as floating debris, which can drop a tightly sealed chest, which can then hold light leather inside. This was going to be our means of collecting the required amount of leather. Foolproof, honestly. Though what I didn't expect was the absolute lack of these nodes at the time. I swear nearly an hour and a half of this character's playtime was just spent running along this coastline. We had a lot of quality time together. Putting this side quest aside for now, though, our attention is once more upon these murlocs as we scoured the coast looking for each particular one we'd needed. You see, Blizzard did this really cool thing, where they didn't just need you killing murlocs in this small area down here, but also all the way up here. So more coast running was in our future. During this time, old Murkai decided to pay us a visit, and we showed him some of that good old Midwest hospitality. Gave him some of that casserole, if you know what I mean. While finishing up, we come across this warlock named Bi. I love that name, not gonna lie. It's amazing. They'd wanted to group up to deal with these murlocs, so we combined our powers and laid waste to them all. I'd felt unstoppable before, but now we were just a force of nature, dude. We ran all across the coast together, joking about how we were wishing that the treasure map would drop for one of these murlocs. Alas, such a thing never came to be, though. Bi finished up the quest and departed to turn them in, wishing me luck as he disappeared over the ridge. And in a hilarious turn of events, the very next murloc dropped the map. This shit still kills me, it's so funny. After turning in our murloc quest, we turned our full attention to this map. The map itself leads to Captain Sanders' treasure, and our first step is to find an old footlocker near a boat washed up upon the beach. While assisting another paladin friend, we'd spotted it and cracked it open to get our next clue. The next step was to head to the east and look for a barrel near some chimney ruins. This physically pains me to watch, because the barrel is literally right there this entire time, but I thought they meant literally next to this chimney, so I didn't even notice it sitting there. So here I was, helplessly lost in finding this barrel, believing I was at the wrong place. But wait, there was more of these ruins further to the east. Surely it was there instead. No, idiot, we just walked by it. Several times! After finally realizing how dumb we were, the next step was to head due north and look for a windmill on the sea bluffs. There we'd find an empty jug that had the next step to the treasure. But if the next clue was inside the jug, is it really empty? As this one was much more noticeable, we picked it up immediately and had our last clue. All that remained was to swim out to an island to collect our treasure. Not only did we get a silver bar for our efforts, but we got a new shirt and another 8-slot bag. I remember being so let down by this quest reward in the past, but now I'm just hyped as fuck. This is awesome! So now, all of my business in Westfall had concluded. Kind of. There was only one thing left, and it was something I had been holding off on for a good while. The dead mines. The thought of running a dungeon stressed me out, like suddenly the stakes are much higher. You no longer had to worry about just yourself, but also everybody else in the party. There was more room for error, more room for everything to go wrong, and thus more room to die. But we couldn't just stop there. Oh no, we needed to add more stress. So we decided to be a healer. Meet the squad. We've got Kaimasabe, the 22 Night Elf Hunter, master of shooting things real good. White Albino, the 22 Night Elf Druid and shape-shifting extraordinaire. Coriana, the 27 Human Paladin, and 20... Why are you here? And Raging SF, the 23 Warrior, tanker of damage. At least I think they were a tank. And then there was me, Alexari, the 18 Human Paladin that could, I guess, heal or something. With this team of professionals, Dead Mines was going to be an absolute joke. Van Cleef won't even know what hit him. Luckily for me, I'd foreseen this possibility and set aside gear that would be good for healing, stuff with a good amount of intellect and spirit. You don't really need armor if you don't plan on getting hit. And though I'd prepared for this, I was still incredibly nervous. In being the healer, suddenly, everyone's life is now in your hands. You hold the power to kill them all. I mean, save them all. Yeah, that. I try to keep that 5-second rule in mind, where if you don't cast anything for 5 seconds, your mana will start to regenerate on its own, increasing based upon how much spirit you have. It actually ended up helping immensely. Well, that and everyone being absolutely overleveled as fuck. While waiting for everyone to arrive, we went about finishing the outside quests. From all the Defias boys out and about, we collected red silk bandages for another bub back at Sentinel Hill. Along with those, we went about getting various Miners' Union cards, as well as a badge from Wilder Thessalnettle's brother. There'd been a cave-in at the mine, and Wilder had been one of the only ones to escape. As our druid joins the party, we were now all gathered to finally enter the dead mines. So upon getting inside, it became clear very fast that, this was going to be an absolute cakewalk. I mean, the trash barely even hurt us, and even if it did, they were annihilated within seconds. What I believed was going to be an absolutely nerve-wracking experience was actually incredibly chill. Honestly, I could have been so much more aggressive, as mana wasn't even a problem. Like, I rarely even had to drink. It was great, and before I knew it, we'd reached the first boss of the dungeon, this Rockzor the Foreman. This absolute unit of an ogre towered over the entire group, looking ready to smash someone's face in, and he's already dead. Okay, but next up was Sneed and his Shredder, another imposing figure that could spell danger for us all if we weren't and he's dead too. Never mind, I keep forgetting this lad throws hands even after the Shredder's gone. This is actually insane how easy this is. Okay, but what about Gilna the Smelter? I mean, surely things will get more sketchy with time, but no, he just absolutely gets bullied too. You know, I'm definitely overthinking things. This place isn't nearly as dangerous as I thought it would be. But I'm also running with a group that vastly overlevels everything in here, so I'm probably a bit biased. I'm actually definitely biased in that regard. But with 3 bosses down, there's only 3 left to go. This is getting good. We break our way into the final stretch, revealing this giant boat in front of us absolutely loaded with cannons. We fight our way up to Mr. Smite, the ship's first mate, and now we're making him angry.
No, you're making me angry!
In the end, he stood no match against us, and sadly, didn't drop his hammer. But bruh, we just bullied that lad, oh my god! So when I said 3 bosses before, that was kind of a lie. I legit keep forgetting that Cookie exists, which surprises me because with a name like Cookie, you would think he'd be the last one I'd forget. I mean, the name's awesome! Continuing on, we ascend ramp after ramp until we're finally at the top. The only thing separating us from Van Cleef himself is Captain Greenskin. But even he can barely do anything to keep us back. It was now time to take on the man himself. We make the pull. Meanwhile, I'm floundering about trying to figure out what I should be doing. Like, should I commit to attacking? Should I commit to healing? Or just kind of, I don't know, do a little bit of both? We get the stun, skipping the second wave of ads, and within moments, it's over. Van Cleef was no more. And that's that. Westfall was officially complete. We turned in the various bit of cloth and delivered Van Cleef's head to Gryan, and now there's nothing left for us here. At least, in terms of quests, that is.
When my purpose is to entertain others, I can't help but feel empty inside. I want something more, something greater. Purpose in life is ephemeral and is never truly achieved. It is always just out of reach, and that is what keeps me going.
Great times.